If you are marrying to access a certain lifestyle, then stop acting like you're marrying for love, because you're not.
Why does a man have to develop being a good person if women don't care about it? Hi, we're Kelly and Julie, and we're here to find love. Today we're doing a Bachelor in Paradise 2022 recap, Season 8, Week 7, Episode 12. This week's episode was Geometry Beach, and it had all of these love triangles, which became really straightforward romances, or so we thought. Let's get started.
Okay, first of all, can we all welcome Julie back? It's so good to have you back.
I mean, last week's episode was so dramatic. All of the fights that were happening. Yeah. I'm sad I missed out on it, but I thought Bert did an amazing job analyzing everything.
We'll get a little bit of your thoughts on it, too, at the end of this episode, because it all kind of still, a lot of the same unhealthy themes from last week are still playing out on the beach this week, so we'll be able to talk, and I definitely want to pick your brain about it. Okay, let's start with the Kate and Logan situation, because, man, that was brutal to watch. Probably all of us, most of us, are pretty disappointed with Kate's little strange monologue about Logan being too poor for her.
I'm like, I know that you literally can't afford to work out at Equinox.
It seems like she went on this date with Hayden, didn't like Hayden at all. She really didn't seem to like his personality. She seemed really not into him. She didn't have a good time on the date. But she came back and was like, well, but he has money and Logan doesn't have money, so maybe I should consider Hayden, which I think really says a lot about Kate and what Kate's values are. The fact that she's even considering Hayden, to me, I was like, oh, girl, like, you gotta get your priorities straight here.
I was really disappointed in Kate and how she kind of went to each of the girls on the beach and was like, hey, I'm 33. Logan has 2 roommates. He can't afford a gym membership to Equinox. Hayden has all of these luxury rental properties. He can spend $100,000 on his dead ailing dog. This means that this man is a contender for the kind of partner that I really want to be with. And to me, it just felt like it was screaming that Kate does not like Logan as much as Logan likes Kate. It just felt like she was looking for any way out of that relationship almost. And I mean, she kind of said this herself. She is successful. She likes a challenge. And Logan is the hot boy on the beach, but he's not the successful guy. So now that she has him, she's landed him, the whole juice of the excitement of what the thrill of the chase was is kind of gone. And I really do feel like she's looking for an out, and as soon as she finds one that kind of confirms to her that Logan is not good enough for her, she's going to take it. And that's really disappointing, because it really does show her value system, where she's at and what she's looking for in a partner. And I never thought they were a good relationship, but I just don't think Logan deserves that behavior. He can't help his specific station in life. He's a 26-year-old or a 24, and he has 2 roommates, and he is figuring out his work situation. That's not something to be shamed about. And if your partner's not going to accept you because they're in a totally different place, that's fine. Don't make him feel bad about it, and don't make it feel like this is diminishing him and who he is as a person, because he can't provide in those really traditional, outdated ways. I was just I don't know, I've never really liked Kate because I didn't know Kate in the last season, but more and more this season, it's oh my gosh, this is not the kind of girl that you want to date, or that you really just want to hedge your bets on. You want to just kind of keep a wide berth from her, because she's very judgmental and a little bit materialistic.
Yeah, she was making it seem like it was about his age, and that was the thing, that's why he doesn't have enough money. But of course the truth is plenty of people go their whole lives without ever becoming wealthy, and that doesn't make them less desirable partners. It doesn't make them less worthy of love. It doesn't mean that they're going to be a worse partner for you in the long haul in terms of providing a secure, stable, and loving relationship. So this idea that how wealthy you are is tied to how good a partner you will be. I mean, I just think that, to your point, it's just materialistic, it's shallow, and it's classist, frankly. I mean, plenty of people who have no money have happy like stable, loving, good relationships. And we shouldn't make it seem like if you don't have money, you can't have a good relationship or you can't be a good partner. So I really hate that she pushed that narrative out there. I just think that it's unfair, it's prejudiced, honestly. And obviously we have to assume that most people who appear on this show, on this reality TV shows, they tend to be people who are in the kind of upper middle class. They don't tend to be people who are more socioeconomically disadvantaged, just because I bet that those people don't tend to get picked for this type of thing because, you know, they don't look glamorous because they can't pay for all the expensive clothes and makeup and crap that makes you look desirable enough to appear on reality TV. So there's so much bias here that came into play. And I mean, it always exists when it comes to reality TV. When we're talking about celebrities, we're always talking about people within a specific socioeconomic class. But the fact that Kate made it seem like people who are not in that socioeconomic class are definitively bad partners or less worthy of love or less worthy of her time, to me that was like, ugh, girl, it's okay if she has a specific thing that she wants for her own life, a specific lifestyle that she's looking for, but don't make it seem like people who cannot provide that are somehow bad people or bad partners. That was the thing that to me really rubbed me wrong about the way she was talking about that. And I don't like that the show kind of nodded along. If you watched live, the show aired like a little ad. You know, they always do this, like throughout the episode, they'll air like a little ad, like, come join, like apply to be on The Bachelor, apply to be on Bachelor in Paradise. In this one, they were like, are you looking for a real man who can afford a real gym? Apply for Bachelor in Paradise. That was like the little ad that they played. And I was like, what the heck is this? First, it seemed like the show was making fun of Kate for having this point of view. But then to like air an ad like that kind of like agrees with that point of view, it's gross to me. Like, it's just gross. I just don't think that we should talk about money as part of what makes someone worthy of love or a good partner, because I just don't think it's fair. Because, you know, some people are born into a much more disadvantaged situation that is not their fault. They don't have the type of support that allows them to go to college and get that kind of job. They don't have the financial support that would allow them to build and accrue wealth with ease, the same way people who are born into privilege are able to do. So it just, to me, it was just like a super gross point of view for her to go on this rant about, and for the show to like spotlight and vaguely support. So I was just grossed out by that whole thing.
Wow, you made so many incredible points about that conversation, and it did feel so icky, because you're right, like, it is okay to say you maybe want a certain standard of life, you maybe want your partner to have a certain career or job, but that doesn't mean that you make someone feel bad about it specifically and you transfer all of these qualities onto them. They're immature, they're someone that you can't like trust with your future, they're someone that doesn't know what they want. Like, I felt like Kate was really getting into these weird associations of Logan, and the show did feed into that. Like, when she would say, you know, he's immature, it was not the best camera shots of him in the beach looking like a doofus. Like, he was bobbing in the water, just looking real dumb. I felt really bad for Logan, because like, he is enjoying himself in the pool, and the show is feeding into this really like image-oriented version of love that I think is really dangerous. And people do date this way, where people do want someone that gives them certain things, and that's totally fine. But I think a deeper quality of love where it feels like really secure and really incredible in terms of what growth you can offer to the partner, and it's not about how you look to the outside world, it's really how you guys are feeling about each other internally. And Kate, to me, feels so far from that idea. She is like on a different planet from that idea.
I also think that if you are marrying to access a certain lifestyle, then stop acting like you're marrying for love, because you're not. Just call it what it is. You want a financial beneficiary, you want someone who will, you know, pay for a lifestyle that you can't access by yourself, and stop making it seem like it's about finding the right guy and a good man, because that's not what it's about. Clearly, like, Kate showed her hand, right? It's not even about that for you. So to act like men are less valuable or less good or something, if they can't afford to give that to you, it's prejudice, it's classist. It just really blows my mind that people still talk this way about men, right? And you see this, I see this on the internet all the time too, on social media. There's always this running joke about broke men, like we don't date broke men, yada yada yada. And it's like, I don't know, it's not cute. Like, she said this thing which was like, Hayden can take care of me and I deserve that. It's like, what? Everyone deserves to not have to work their asses off. Everyone deserves to get taken care of. It's not only like women of value are the people who deserve to have, you know, secure lives that are carefree and easy. And everyone is deserving of that kind of lifestyle. And man, if we really want to go there, honestly, to me, this is like patriarchal apologist like narratives. This is all narratives that support a patriarchal dynamic between men and women, wherein men are the providers. I want men to have provider energy and women are taken care of. To me, this is an excuse for the subjugation of women. Kate is really representative of that certain brand of patriarchal apologists, that this idea that Hayden has so much money and because he can take care of her and I deserve that, I'm tired of pretending that I don't deserve that. Like, she's playing into this really weird gendered patriarchal trope that women have kind of been taught to buy into, right? This is this idea that women prove their worth by having a man who will own them and provide for them, and you just stay home and you take care of the kids in the house, and you know, that's what you do if you're a worthy woman. This is how you prove that you are, you know, good at doing the woman thing. And of course there's so many women out there who have learn to want that kind of arrangement. Find a husband who will just provide for you so you don't have to lift a finger. And of course, who doesn't want to just not have to work ever and just have everything provided? Of course, we all want that. But this idea that this is something that good women deserve and good men should be able to provide, that's where the problem comes in. Because that narrative and the idea that it's gendered in this way, that men are always the providers and women are always the receivers and they stay home and take care of the house or whatever, right? It actively contributes, honestly, to just patriarchal oppression, right? It's disempowering toward women, and this is an aspect of patriarchy that's twisted into something that's designed to appeal so that women kind of self-subjugate, right? And it's like a way to like get women to buy into a dynamic that at the end of the day is not good for them, because it paints this idea that women of value don't work, this idea that men are the providers, men are the heads of household, men are the money makers. These are tropes that keep women out of positions of power in the corporate world, in the government, right? These are tropes that they're hurtful to men too, right? They like hurt men because it applies this pressure to them to make their lives center around work, make their lives center around being able to build wealth as fast as possible, which isn't good for them either. It's not healthy. As Kate herself says, it's exhausting. It builds resentment, right? Nobody wants to have to center their lives around accruing money as fast as possible. Otherwise, they will be deemed as not worthy and like some broke dude, right? It's like, this is not healthy for anyone. This is toxic patriarchy. This is harmful to truly everyone involved. But women themselves espouse it. They've been taught to espouse it, to desire it, and to prove their own worth. And it's just, honestly, it's sad. It's sad to me to watch Kate play into this dynamic, to spout it on national television. Again, it's okay if she wants that lifestyle for herself, but to say that this is the way it should be and good men should do this and good women deserve this, it's gross to me, honestly. It's really, really gross.
Mm-hmm. I love every single point you made, because it's so true that Kate is representative of such a toxic dynamic. And going into that further, it was really disappointing how she would speak about her concerns to some of the women on the beach, and they were agreeing with her. Like, yeah, he has 2 roommates. That's bad. Ooh, Hayden can take care of, you know, these things. All of a sudden, Hayden, who has been proven to be someone that has like narcissistic tendencies, that doesn't treat women properly, that says shitty things to them, that compares women to each other, now he is elevated with better qualities of a man because he happens to have some Airbnbs. Whereas Logan, who is also not my favorite on the beach, but at least he tries with Kate. At least he puts himself out there. He like tries to actively win her over, and he makes her feel really good. He gives her all of these displays of affection. All of that is kind of seen as well, that's not worthwhile to me. Like, he's not doing this, so now I consider him to be lazy, immature, juvenile, someone that's not worth my time. He can't even get into Equinox, and that to me is such a privileged statement to say, to just assume that the people in Equinox is better than people working out at like a crunch gym. It just depends on how much money you want to spend and the signaling that you want to give off into the world.
Right.
And Kate, to me, it's just all about status signaling, and it's just like, ooh, whatever she's doing, guys, don't do it on dating. Like, just look at her as like a walking red flag.
I know. You're so right. And I know it's like, it's so easy to, because you hear this, listen, Kate's not the only one. You hear this all the time when you talk to women about dating on social media. I see this so much. There's so many memes about this whole thing, about looking for men who will pay for you and yada, yada, yada. It's such a, it's such a trope and a cultural, it's like a script, honestly, that women are just taught to look for this, and then they wonder how they end up in toxic relationships. It's like, we're seeing it play out. It's like Hayden clearly is like awful. He had so many awful things to say about Gabby and Rachel, and he was just so just like rude and considerate and dismissive and like full of himself, and yet he's being painted as a desirable partner. It's like, guys, like, come on. You know, if you want to have healthy love that feels good for you, like, you got to know what your priorities are. Again, it's okay. It's okay to want like a certain lifestyle for yourself and to aspire toward that with a partner, but you gotta, like, if all you are doing with relationships is looking for access to a certain lifestyle, then stop acting like you're looking for love, because you're not. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. It's like,
agreed.
If you want a certain lifestyle, build it yourself. And the thing that she said that so rubbed me wrong, it's like, I'm tired of being a breadwinner. I don't want to have to provide for people anymore. The idea that she doesn't want to do that and yet she expects it from her partner, it's like, what a double standard. I was like, do you hear yourself? Like, what makes you feel like you are different from the men that you date, that you deserve to have everything provided for you and your partner just has to work their ass off for you? It's like, where did this lopsided dynamic come from? I'm asking where, but I know where it comes from. Again, it's all patriarchy. It's all tied to hurting everyone involved, keeping men in positions of power and women in positions of financial disempowerment, subjugation. Like, it all ties back to that. And I know it's easy to think that it's not that deep, but I mean, it's an application of gendered idealism that only serves to disempower women and empower men and get women to buy into it. That's all it is. That's all this point of view is.
I'm obsessed with your point. No, I think it's amazing, and this is why I love watching the show with you, because you're able to extrapolate such an amazing theory about what's happening on TV in real time, and why Kate and how she's performing this sense of entitlement of these men is so damaging to people. Even though people might be seeing it and they kind of engage with it in a really superficial way, there is something insidious and malicious about the way that she's dating that people are actively feeding into. We know people that date like this, and it's super pervasive in dating culture, and this is what stops us from like entering into healthy relationships. And Kate, to me, that makes me even more sad for her, is that she doesn't see it as a problem. Like, she truly believes she deserves this thing, that she deserves, like, she wants to have it all almost. Like, she wants Logan and Hayden to still chase her around, but she can't admit to herself what she really wants in a partner, which is to be taken care of and to have a hot guy on Instagram that she can take pictures with and get lots of likes and sponsorship deals and go to expensive places and travel with. That's fine if that's what you want, but don't now make Logan jump through hoops to prove his worth to you when you know exactly who he is and what he's about. To make him feel bad and shameful about that is the trauma. That's something that is really bad for Logan to engage with, but she doesn't know that, and this is what causes like a lot of harm in dating and a lot of hurt and a lot of therapy.
You're so right. You know, it is so easy to just watch this and be like, she's just shallow and wants to be rich, and it's like, I think that's probably true too, but it has an impact, right? when we push this narrative as the narrative, and that's just the way women are, that's just the way men and women interact with each other. When we push this narrative, it really does, it hurts everybody, right? There's so many layers to this, and then we wonder why, you know, men are working so hard and not spending time with their families, and women are at home being like, my husband doesn't contribute to anything, he doesn't spend time with the family. And it's like, do you know why? Because you made it seem, you spent your whole life telling men that they are not valuable unless they make a lot of money. This is why they're not at home with your fucking children, because they're working hard to prove their worth, because you told them that they're not worthy if they don't make a lot of money. That's why it happens. And so, sorry, I could go into a whole rant about this, but it's all
but you're so right.
It
is so connected. And it's also like, why does a man have to develop being a good person if women don't care about it? If they will overlook it because you make money.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's like, if I'm hated, I'm like, okay, good. I can keep pulling my same bullshit. Women will still want to date me because I have money. So who cares? Yeah, people didn't like a couple of comments I made on Rachel and Gabby's season. Who cares? I have money. I can say whatever the fuck I want. And it's like, great.
Exactly.
That's going to be good for dating culture. Amazing.
Hayden's never going to learn his lesson because there will always be someone around the corner willing to excuse his behavior, willing to date him. It's just like a really bad feedback loop that they're kind of getting cycled into. Yeah. I am really excited for Gabby and Rachel to come into the beach next week. Right. I really hope they blow up Logan's spot, and I hope that, because I do think they will accelerate this inevitable breakup, because I do believe that Kate, I really believe that Kate is very... She has Logan. The chase is over. She wants something else that's challenging and fun to get into, and she wants to be... She's looking for some kind of drama, and I think Gabby and Rachel... I mean, Logan did them wrong in her season, and Kate is looking for something to get out of this relationship. Yeah, she does not like him as much. So... let's see how that plays out. But I loved everything that you said about the patriarchy and oppression and how she is kind of subjugating herself unconsciously or consciously. What do you guys think in the comments below? Like, tell us what you think about this whole conversation. If you do think there's some classism and patriarchy going on in that dynamic, do you think Kate is being harmful in dating? There's so much to get into. Let's have a conversation down below. By the way, if you're new here, welcome. We're two dating coaches who analyze the relationship psychology and dating themes in reality TV shows, especially Bachelor shows like Bachelor in Paradise. So if you're into this kind of stuff, hit that subscribe button to follow along and join the conversation. Now let's move on to the Rodney, Eliza, Justin love triangle that's been trailing off since the last episode. So in this week, Eliza decided to send Justin home in the rose ceremony, and she chose Rodney, much to the relief of everyone on the beach.
It's like everyone's in love with Rodney. I mean, I'm in love with Rodney too, so I get it, but it is like very dramatic to watch.
It's cult leader. It's giving this like very weird energy almost. His emotions are their emotions, which I can see why Eliza would have been so torn choosing it. You and Bert had an amazing conversation about this in the last episode. I think Eliza in the way that she dates is super unhealthy. I just think that she wants something that is toxic and shallow in terms of like, I want someone to fight for me. I want it to feel really flirty and light and kind of challenging. But I think Rodney is a little bit too stabilizing, and he just won't give her the drama of being this possessive person that's going to like take her in his arms and be like, you can't have any man look at you. That's just not the energy he is. And I do believe Eliza wants someone that will fight for her and to get into arguments with her and give her this like really high sense of anxiety. It says a lot about her attachment style. It says a lot about her immaturity in the way that she dates. So I believe Rodney should have taken a lot of her signaling of her being, you know, of her kind of feeding into the both of them at the same time, kissing Justin a lot on the daybed in full view in front of Rodney. To me, it just felt like this really big moment of Rodney. He should have been like, okay, she's not in the same phase as me. I want someone to meet my mom. I want someone to get engaged to. Eliza is still dating in a very, like, it's a very youthful way of dating. I wouldn't say it's a little bit toxic, but I just think Eliza just doesn't have the healthiest purview on relationships right now. So I kind of figured that it was not going to be good for Rodney when she was shaking, handing him the rose. And then their kiss was like so brief. And the way that she stayed at the car saying goodbye to Justin, I was like, okay, it's not looking good. But everyone on the beach was literally like, Rodney, you did it. Eliza made you, like, Eliza picked you. This is amazing. It just felt like such a sharp contrast, and I am glad that she was honest with him, and she said, hey, I chose you because everyone loves you on the beach, but what's right for me is ultimately Justin. And then Rodney was able to walk away from that. Let's see how it goes next week when she visits Justin at his house, but I do feel like because she's immature, to me, Justin, the way that he dated Genevieve, didn't give the best vibes either. There's something about it where I feel like they're really attracted to that weird, toxic, immature magnetism in each other.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you that Eliza doesn't seem to want a healthy relationship. It seems like what she wants is the drama, right? I think that what she wants is the chase. She wants a relationship with these highs and lows. And I think that the funny thing with Rodney, of course, is that he's so stable, right? He's not gonna have these, like, it's not like he's gonna become really toxic to show how much he loves her. He's always gonna take this grounded, level-headed approach to his relationships, which is actually what you want in a partner. But to your point, I think Eliza just has this immature understanding of what love is, and she somehow has gotten into her head that real love is supposed to be painful. I think that's actually why she suddenly turned around and was so into Justin, because we didn't see a lot of what was going on between Justin and Eliza, but what we did see of them, it didn't seem like there was like that much substance there. It didn't actually seem like Justin was that into her. Like, to me, it just seemed like Justin, you know, he was invited to come back to paradise if he pursues Eliza, and it's like, of course he would do that. And, you know, like, she was his only ticket to staying in paradise after he was brought back for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to come back to paradise after being sent home. So to me, I don't know why she, like, got it into her head, like, oh, he makes me feel so special, he's only here for me. It's like, yeah, he's only here for you, but there was nothing special about their dynamic, honestly. It felt very surface level. It's like they had fun together. He's hot, she's hot, so it clicks in that sense. So, like, but it just didn't seem to have, I don't know, there was no meat there. So I don't know how she got it into her head that they have a good connection. And then with the way this all panned out, the way, you know, she originally gave her rose to Rodney and then decided that she actually wanted to chase after Justin, honestly, I still don't think it's because she really, really likes Justin as much as it is because when she was walking him out, it was so sad for her. And she was like, oh, this is painful. Pain? That must be real love. Real love is painful, right? Real love has highs and lows and drama and intensity. And I'm feeling something really big and having this big feeling. That must mean I really like Justin. And it's like, what? No, you were just having a big feeling. It was sad to send him home. You had a really stressful day. Like, I mean, maybe I'm not saying that she doesn't like him at all. I'm sure she does. But, like, she made it seem like, oh, there's just a stronger connection between her and Justin. And I just don't actually think that was true. I think that she just likes the drama. I think she just likes the chase. And she likes the idea that now she gets to, like, get on a plane and have the camera crew follow her as she goes to Justin's door. I think she thinks that all of that means it's a real love, it's a real feelings, when in reality it's just that Justin was a hot, nice boy that she was sad to send home, and I think that's kind of it.
To me, it felt like her whole interaction of Justin, or at least what we saw on TV, was they had like really cute flirty moments, but it wasn't grounded in anything super substantial. Yeah. They didn't talk about the future. They didn't talk about their relationship. Yeah. They were joking around. Like, their sense of humor is clearly aligned. It's clear that he pays attention to the fact that she loves gummy bears. Okay, that's cute. It also says a lot about where she's at. I don't know if she's looking for an engagement as much as she's looking for a really hot guy to have this amazing, fun connection with a ton of chemistry. Her and Rodney did have chemistry, but I'm thinking about their first date. I mean, it did feel a little bit more like Rodney was like, I see you in my life. I see you meeting my family. I see you meeting my friends. And that's cute. But it's not cute to the person that doesn't want those things right now. Or she wants a little bit more of the chase. And I think that because Rodney is such a secure person where he... like, what is he going to do? Like, force her not to go on the date? Which is what she basically wanted. He wanted to kind of, like... take away her consent. And I think it's always really dangerous when people put themselves in a situation where they're giving their power away, because how can you trust that person with your decision making? How do you know them that they will make what's the best decision that's right for you? But that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to volunteer and give it away. And Rodney rightfully gave it right back to her, and she showed exactly who she was. She didn't know what she wanted. Right. She didn't know who she was after. Justin was there. Right. He's hot. He's casual. He's light. Compared to Rodney, where it feels so serious, and choosing him is like, maybe that means I would have to get engaged at the end of this. Do I like him, or do I like the fact that he is like the cutest guy on the beach right now? There's so many variables to it that it's really hard to be able to predict it.
Yeah, totally. I think that's such a good point. And it's like, honestly, I think she liked him more before when they first started dating, because he kind of still had this other girl, Lace, that was still in the background. And then Eliza was like, oh, he's going to pick me over Lace. How exciting. Like, I think there was like, when it was light and flirty, and it was just all about the chemistry and the good vibes, and that's when she was liking it. But when the shit hit the fan and she had this opportunity to see what he's like in conflict, it was like she wanted him to have, like you said, this like really toxic reaction, this possessive, like, take all the power type of reaction. And I think she honestly just like, I think she hated how much of a good guy he was. I think she saw like, oh, he's not this like hyper toxic masculine guy. Oh, I don't like that. It was like she wanted him to like beg for her or fight for her. And then the funny thing is, he even did it, right? Like when she came back from sending Justin away,
you're right,
and he holds her and he goes like, you're all mine now, like, I'm not letting anyone take you from me. He like said that, and it was so obvious that he was saying that because he knew that's the kind of thing that she wants him to say. Like, it was so obvious that that's not something that Rodney would ever just like naturally think to say. He did exactly what she wanted him to do, and you saw the look on her face. She like didn't care. It was like she wanted him to beg for her, and so he did it. And then she was like, ew. She wanted it to be like toxic, but he wouldn't do it in this toxic way. She like wanted it to be like this fight and this like tension, and it was like, it was never going to be like that. As soon as Rodney gave her exactly what she wanted, she was like, ew, you're just going to give me what I want? It's not going to be hard. There's no pain. If there's no pain, it's not real love. Like, that to me is like the big issue with Eliza. It was like, Rodney was like, you have a need? I'm going to deliver on it. And she was like, oh, this isn't hard. It's supposed to be hard. There's supposed to be a chase. No, that is not what love looks like. We need to get this idea out of our heads that love is supposed to feel like this chaotic thing. And it's like, if there are big feelings, that means it's real. Like, we have to get out of that myth, because it's just, again, it's like, it hurts everyone, right? It hurts everyone. It keeps us all stuck in unhealthy relationships thinking like, well, it's like what Victoria said to Eliza in last week's episode. She's like, people only fight this way because they really care. It's like, no, stop it.
That pained me. When I saw the interaction, I literally rewinded it, because I thought, there's no way that my girl Victoria is saying the most toxic thing I've heard on TV in a long time.
Yeah.
It is so true. She wanted Rodney to be this toxic jerk to her, and as soon as he was like, I am not gonna do those, I will give you what you want, but I'm going to be like this very nice guy. Like, even when she was crying about Justin and about to send him home, or about to send herself home, he was like, beautiful, what's wrong? Like, that was the wrong move. Like, she is an anxiously attached person, in my opinion, and she's looking for that anxiety that you get in those relationships where you are dating someone avoidant, and there are these highs and lows where you run after someone and they move closer to you, you get close, and then they run away. There's always this tension of, I don't know if I have you completely, and that's what makes me like you. It is not you as a person.
God.
So,
God,
like, what Rodney was offering on a
back to
silver platter, she was like, no.
This is taking me back.
Is it taking you back to the past?
It's taking me back to, like, when I was, like, 21 or something, and, like, you know, it was, like...
100%.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
You just want it to feel... You just want that dramatic feeling of, like, wanting someone so bad, having them chase you, you fight, you don't know if it's going to work out, and you assume that this is what love is, right? If it's, like, so hard, if I want it this badly, that must mean it's because I really love him. And it's like, no, sometimes you just want this, sometimes you just crave that roller coaster feeling because it's all you've ever known, and because those feelings are so intense, and you know, you just learn, you see them in the movies, and you just repeat these patterns. You're just repeating patterns that you have seen. And, you know, we're not taught to desire that healthy, secure thing that Rodney was offering up. We're not taught to desire that. And it's sad because, I mean, Eliza really just lost a good man. Like, she just lost a real good man.
Dude, it's like, I relate to it because I remember when I was younger and dating, there would be days when I would be clutching my phone waiting for someone to text me back. I'm like, please, is he gonna
and like, you see his name come up on your phone, you're like,
yes, it's a high. It's like, oh my God. So Eliza is chasing the high. She's like, is Justin going to welcome me back? Is he going to like me? And Rodney is on the beach like, I will introduce you to my mom. I might want to get engaged with you. And she's like, no, I want to know if this guy wants me. This guy that seems like he wants me, but I haven't had him completely yet. I want the challenge of that really precarious connection. I don't know, like, if I was Rodney, I would be giving a huge sigh of relief that she did him a gigantic favor. Dating her just would be so exhausting because she doesn't... Yeah, she doesn't even, I believe, perceive it as a problem. She really perceives it as, this is how I like to date and this is what I want, and that's fine. Just, you don't need to take 20 steps back to be with someone like her. You have to keep moving forward and finding that person that can actually hang with you and give you what you want back.
I think, too, the other thing that, at least for me, it, like, sparked something in me, which was when she was saying goodbye to him, to Justin, and she was so sad to see him go, and then she was crying at night, and the next day she was still crying. And what she said was that, like, I thought it would feel more clear to me, but I'm just, like, I'm so sad. I'm still crying, and that must mean that maybe I made the wrong decision. And it's funny that that's where her mind went, that just because she was sad, that means that she, like, actually likes that guy more. And she says this thing, she's like, I don't even know what it would look like to see Rodney right now when I'm just, like, crying so much over Justin. Like, I don't even know how to see him. And to me, I was like, is this a weird monogamy myth thing striking again? Like, because there was this weird idea that if she's sad to see Justin go, it must mean that she really likes him and doesn't like Rodney. But I don't actually think that those two things are mutually exclusive. It's not like if you really like someone, you're not going to be sad to see the other person go. Like, that's the thing that I think is that I was kind of like, there's like a weird idea that I can only like one person, and if I'm still having feelings for another person, that must mean that my heart is really there. I just don't think that that's really true. I just don't think that it's really true that if you're sad about seeing someone else go, there's a problem. Just because you're happy in the new relationship doesn't mean that you're not also going to have to grieve the end of the one that just ended, right? And it's like, just because you're sad about losing the other guy, that shouldn't diminish the fact that you're also happy about the guy that you're with, right? And those things can coexist. And Eliza seemed to almost like have it in her head that those things can't coexist. I can't be sad about losing someone and happy about the person that I'm with. If I'm sad about losing someone, that means I'm not truly happy about being in this relationship. And I think that just isn't true. I wonder if this weird monogamous, like, narrative or stereotype wasn't so present, if she would have been able to hold both of those feelings at the same time, her sadness about leaving Justin and her happiness about being with Rodney. I wonder if she would have been able to hold them together and been able to proceed with her relationship with Rodney. It just seemed weird that she was so confused by why she was sad. And it's like, you're sad because you let a guy go that you liked, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that you don't also like Rodney. It also doesn't mean that you have to chase Justin down. It's okay to be sad when someone you like leaves your life. It doesn't, I don't know. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense, and I think it's Eliza seeing things in a black and white way.
Yeah.
Where it kind of did feel like I have bigger, more complicated emotions for Justin. I have bigger, more complicated emotions for Justin. Rodney doesn't give me that. In fact, he makes me feel indebted almost. And I do think that maybe the allure of Rodney and who he is on the beach and the fact that everyone thought they'd be such a good match, she was not really able to connect with Rodney, just who he was as a person. And I think this kind of harkens back to like if you're dating someone that your friends and family really love, but maybe you're not as into him because it's, like he's a great guy, but maybe there's nothing really there. Whereas Justin, or not like there's anything romantic, but it just doesn't feel especially stimulating because it just kind of feels like a given. There's not any challenge. There's not any mystery. There's not any intrigue. This guy likes you. You know how everybody feels about him. You know the future. Everything is very clear. Eliza feels to me like she is interested in something a little bit more murky, mysterious, and obscured. And Justin and these weird feelings about him leaving, that gives her a lot to latch onto emotionally in terms of like, I know how I feel about Rodney, but Justin is what I keep thinking about. Justin's what I feel all of these things about. Does this mean I like Justin more? And because of her emotional development of dating, I really believe she can't parse through those emotions correctly. Where she's like, okay, well, this means no, this means yes.
Right. It's like the big emotion that is like it's like, if that's a big emotion, I have to just follow the big emotion as opposed to being able to hold those two things simultaneously. Big emotion for Justin, and also like I'm happy and secure in my relationship with Rodney, and those things can coexist. It was kind of like she couldn't let those things. It was like she can only follow the big feeling, and so...
Dude, it's like she couldn't hold those two things in her hand. It felt like she had to weigh it almost.
Right.
What matters more? What's more in my mind? And that's not the right approach for this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the question is now going to become, is Justin going to welcome her back and be open to a relationship with her? And the preview kind of teased like he was going to be confused by her showing up. That's what the preview kind of teased anyway. But I don't know. I could see him just being like, sure, like let's try and see what happens. Do I think that they're gonna work out in the long term? No, like not at all. Honestly, I think like, it'll last a couple weeks, couple months maybe, if that. But like I can't see this really becoming anything particularly big. The only caveat that I will add to that is, to your point, Justin he had some pretty unhealthy communication patterns when he was dating Genevieve. So actually, I think he will create a relationship with a lot of highs and lows, like if he were to be in a relationship with Eliza. And so actually, Eliza might really like that because Justin has some, just some toxic traits that I think she's going to be like, it's so hard with him. That must mean I really love him. So I could actually see her clinging to that relationship because it's going to be rocky. But yeah, that's kind of my only read of those two. What do you think about the Justin-Eliza thing? Do you actually think that could work out?
No, I don't. Because your point is totally spot on. She wants to like go on this weird roller coaster, and I get it. Like, homegirl, I've been there.
We all been there.
But we've all been there. Like, I have totally had some very unhealthy relationships or crush situationships in the past, and it was never about the guy. It was about the feeling that he gave me, and that experience is what I was looking for where I was at and how I was dating and things I was working out of my system and my body. Now that's not the kind of relationship I have or want. I like it when my partner texts me back and I know that he wants what I want and we have an aligned future. Like, that to me is sexy.
Yeah.
But you have to grow into it. And I don't think Eliza is going to experience hypergrowth with Justin. She's going to be spinning her wheels.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us down below, what do you all think about how Eliza handled this little love triangle with Rodney and Justin? Do you think that she and Justin are going to work out? Are you confident in this pairing? Please tell us down below. We would love to hear your thoughts. If you've watched to this point in the video and you aren't subscribed to our channel yet, hit that subscribe button. We do this every single week and recap every single episode of Bachelor in Paradise and Bachelorette and Bachelor and so on. So you should subscribe and follow along. We talked a lot about this toxic stories related to love, these toxic love narratives and the chase and fight for me. We talked a lot about all of that in our video last week, so we'll leave a link to that somewhere around here so you can watch that one next.
And I thought Bert was an amazing stand-in. He was
Wasn't he so cute?
He was so cute. He definitely looks like a paradise boy. Like, I can't get that out of my brain anymore. Like Jacob,
Okay, the
and
one
Casey having a
commenter
baby.
who said that?
I'm dead.
Now I can't stop seeing it. When I look at him, I'm
I can't unsee it.
does he look like Jacob? Oh, God. Okay, we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.